Hello again, Steve here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the effects, another effect rather, that is, of the coronavirus. And that is, I believe in the words of a guy named Axelrod. It was one of Obama's henchmen. I forget, is David Axelrod maybe? Or it might have been a Emanuel guy. I forget which one it was anyways. Who once said something along the lines of, you never want to let a perfectly good crisis go to waste. I think what we might be able to do, as tragic as this coronavirus appears to be, it might also be another example of how we can, in real time, observe how it is that government goes about inching itself into everybody's lives. Think about it. You could have areas in the world where, very conveniently or inconveniently for those involved in the search for freedom, want to express themselves, and the government then will say, they can say that, we need to quarantine this area and seek out those who have the coronavirus by force and what have you. And they can just go in then, because then they have a state of emergency or whatever it is, and forcibly test people and inject them with whatever they want and so on, right? So this is something to be very much aware of, I think. We see that it's happening in China. It appears as though in some cases where there were dissidents, the one guy who had that very emotional outcry about how he had the Communist Party behind him and the coronavirus in front of him, he ended up getting tossed in for whatever reason. I'm sure it was on the pretense that he had the coronavirus, thrown into one of these detention centers and never heard of again. And so what a convenience, right? Because government, like I say, in the words of the great Obama's assistant, you never want to let a perfectly good crisis go to waste. So I think we can observe this perhaps, and anytime the government is left involved in doing some sort of a project, especially when it's sort of an emergency, we always seem to come out the other end with more government, don't we? So let's observe this. Let's learn from it, I think. And the lesson, because we always got to take lessons, I think, if we can, from what it is that we observe in the world. A good lesson from here is to not put our health in the hands of others and not put our information into the hands of propagandists. What we're going to learn, that is to say, and consider the alternatives. Consider what other possibilities there are. And this is a way of considering it. Say, hey, look, the government, of course, is going to say that we're here for public safety and health and all this sort of thing. But at the end of it, if we end up with less freedom, was it worth it? Was it really worth it? I mean, after all, this whole coronavirus appears to have been a government job, government malfeasance, government corruption, government ineptitude, and so on, from various different agencies, apparently even from Canada, if we can believe it, which is not surprising here, of course. But anyways, I think it's something to observe and something to ask ourselves. Is the coronavirus an opportunity for the government to let a perfectly good crisis be used to institute more government? I think it might be. Steve here again, great chatting. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.